The last time you walked into the room, did your dog lift its head and just watch you? Not for food, not for a walk, just watching the way you watch someone you've been waiting for. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you've wondered what's actually happening behind those eyes. What does it really think of you? For most of human history, we assumed the answer was nothing, that animals were furry machines running on instinct, that whatever love there was only ran one way. But in the last 15 years, neuroscientists have slid dogs and cats into brain scanners, tracked their hormones, and decoded their stares. And what they found is stranger and far more tender than we ever guessed. So, what do they really think of us? The answer rewrites three things we thought we understood: whether they truly know us, whether they love us back, and whether they have any idea what we even are. Let's start with the simplest question: do they even know you? You specifically, out of everyone in the world. In 2014, a neuroscientist named Gregory Burns at Emory University did something nobody had managed before. He trained dogs to lie perfectly still, wide awake, inside an MRI machine so he could watch their brains work in real time. Then he presented each dog with five different scents on a swab: an unfamiliar dog, a familiar dog, a stranger, the dog itself, and its own owner. And one of those scents lit up a region called the caudate nucleus, the part of the brain that flares with anticipation and reward, the same part that lights up in you when you catch sight of someone you love. It wasn't the strongest smell, it wasn't another dog, it was you. Your scent to your dog registers the way a beloved face registers to us. But recognition runs deeper than smell. In 2016, a researcher named Attila Andix at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest scanned dogs while they listened to their trainers speak. And he discovered that dogs don't just hear a warm blur of friendly noise, they process the actual words with the left side of the brain and the tone with the right, exactly the way we do. And here's the part that stops you cold: the reward center in the dog's brain only fully lit up when the words and the tone matched, when a praise word was spoken in a praising voice. Say good boy in a flat bore tone, and it doesn't land the same way. Your dog isn't just riding your happy voice, it's checking whether you mean it. And they're reading more than words. That same year, researchers Kuhn Goa and Daniel Mills at the University of Lincoln showed dogs photographs of human faces paired with sounds and found that dogs match an angry face to an angry voice and a happy face to a happy voice, fusing what they see and what they hear into a single read on your emotional state. It's called cross-modal recognition, and until recently, we thought only humans and a handful of primates could do it. Your dog can look at your face and know, before you've said a single word, whether today was a good day or a bad one. Now, I know what the skeptic is thinking. Of course, the dog lights up for you. You're the one holding the food bowl. You're not a loved one. You're a vending machine it happens to live with. It's a fair objection. For a long time, that was the scientific consensus. So let's actually test it. Not with food, but with something food can't fake. In 2015, a team led by Takefumi Kikisui at Azabu University in Japan measured the oxytocin in dogs and their owners, oxytocin being the bonding hormone, the exact chemical that floods a mother and her newborn when they first lock eyes. They simply had owners and dogs sit together and look at each other, and they found a loop: when the dog gazed at its owner, the owner's oxytocin rose. The rising oxytocin made the owner more affectionate, and that affection pushed the dog's oxytocin higher in return. Two different species feeding the same love chemical back and forth through nothing but eye contact, the same biological handshake that binds a parent to a child. And when they ran the identical test on wolves raised by humans, genetically almost indistinguishable from dogs, the loop never formed. The wolves wouldn't hold the gaze. This was never about food. Somewhere in becoming our companions, dogs evolved the ability to love us chemically, the way we love each other. And in 2017, we learned how deep that goes. A geneticist named Bridget von Holt at Princeton discovered that dogs carry changes in the very same genes that, in humans, cause Williams syndrome, a condition marked by relentless, overflowing friendliness toward everyone they meet. In other words, part of what makes a dog instead of a wolf is a genetic tilt toward loving us. They are, in a real and measurable sense, built to adore you. But here's where it gets strange, because not every animal in your home sees you the same way, and the cat curled up on your couch may be thinking something almost no one expects. For decades, the anthrozoologist John Bradshaw studied how cats behave toward people, and he noticed something odd. When a cat winds around your legs, lifts its tail straight up like a flagpole, and grooms you, those aren't generic pet behaviors. They are the exact things cats do to other cats. A dog plainly knows you're not a dog. It behaves completely differently with you than with its own kind. But a cat treats you as though you are simply another cat. And Bradshaw's conclusion is one of the most quietly astonishing ideas in animal science. Your cat has never quite figured out that you're a different species. To your cat, you are just a very large, oddly clumsy, endearingly incompetent cat, one that happens to be mysteriously gifted at opening food. And once you see them as fellow cats, their strangest habits start to translate. Take the slow blink, that lazy, half lidded gaze your cat gives you from across the room. In 2020, a psychologist named Karen McComb at the University of Sussex ran an experiment on it and found it's anything but random. When you slow blink at a cat, the cat becomes more likely to slow blink back and more likely to walk toward you afterward. It's a signal of trust, the feline equivalent of a soft, easy smile, and your cat is offering it to you in its own language, hoping you'll answer. For a long time, we told ourselves cats were aloof, that they merely tolerated us. But in 2019, Kristen Vitale at Oregon State University tested cats using the same setup psychologists use on human infants, leaving them alone with the caregiver, removing the caregiver, then watching what happened at the reunion. And she found that roughly 65% of cats were securely attached to their owners. That is almost exactly the same percentage as human babies. The aloof cat, it turns out, isn't indifferent. It's bonded to you in the same way a small child is bonded to its mother. Which brings us back to a very old word. We call these animals our companions. And companion comes from the Latin cum and panis. It means quite literally the one you share bread with. For thousands of years, that is what we have been to them, and they to us, the strange creatures we chose to share our bread, our fire, and our homes with. So, what if the love you always thought ran one way has been running in both directions the entire time, just spoken in a language you were never taught to read? Think about what's actually happening in your home tonight. That look your dog gives you across the room isn't waiting for dinner. It's the same gaze that floods you both with the chemistry of love. The cat blinking slowly from the windowsill isn't ignoring you, it's telling you, in the only words it has, that with you it feels safe. You have a whole world, a job, a phone, 10,000 things pulling at your attention. To them, you are the world. You go out and live 100 different lives. They spend theirs waiting by the door for one of them to come home. You will love many people, many places, many things. They will only ever love you. We spent centuries certain that animals felt nothing, that the devotion only flowed one way, and the whole time they were staring back across the room, wondering the very same thing about us, and hoping in their own quiet language that we'd finally understand.